February 24, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. It was, I guess, kind of some choppy legs down, hit the low of day, pushed up in two legs, went sideways, pushed up a third leg, and for the most part just went sideways into the close. It was a less volatile day today, and it was a losing day for me. I took two losses, and the first, well, both trades were poorly managed and poorly executed. The first trade was, I thought, a second entry short, and then the next trade definitely was me uh, getting revenge, and it ended poorly in both instances. I'll get to them when I get to them. I didn't identify too many setups, and so here we go. Kind of a kick in the pants because these two trades are the actual, or the two, like my first actual trading day of the week because I didn't take any trades yesterday. And so, I mean, yesterday wasn't all that. I mean, yesterday was a gigantic sell-off and I really couldn't find that much. Today, it was a bad decision, which resulted in cascaded to another bad decision. And so just starting the week, I'm already in the red, which is definitely a kick in the pants. There was no economic data that came out to really move the markets. And so it's just kind of a slow, choppy day. Uh, yeah. So the pre-market price is just moving sideways, sells off on the open. It looks like it's moving down this orange down channel. Break, test the low, break again, pushes down. At one time I thought it was a spike and then a downward channel, but there's no clean second entries that set up. Hits the low of day. Hits this low and I establish what I think is maybe the trading range that we could be playing in. So this trading range high is established by the pre-market high and then the actual market low, which is actually down here, but it looks like it might have been right here. Pushes up in this green up channel. Break, test the high and keeps going. No clean second entries. Pushes up, breaks out of the trading range that I drew. See a potential fail breakout, and I thought this is a possible trade. It's a localized high. It's a first entry long. It also looks like it's one leg, then a more shallow leg. Second entry long. I was thinking this break of this red up channel needs to test the high. This could be the first attempt. This could be the second attempt, coupled with the EMA bounce. Since the EMA wasn't really touched previously, I thought this might have been a possible trade. Good signal bar close. It would have been good enough because I think from here to here is about 2 points that I'm going for about 6 ticks, or even 1 point, you would have been safe. And then price move, breaks back into this larger gray trading range. No clean second entries, just a bunch of first entries. On this orange down channel move, it breaks to the low side and looks like it was one leg pullback, maybe a second leg, but initially, see if I can draw this. I thought there was kind of like a leg going up like this, but didn't fit too well. So I relied on the trend line that I drew that touched these four, and it kind of touched here. So it's actually a new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long. The problem with the second entry long, and also let me just point out there's a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short in real time. Looks like it's about to fail, but you don't know. The problem with this trade, well, I'm just going to pull it back. The problem with this trade is I'm expecting maybe a potential resumption of this orange down channel moving down. There's a break on this side, created a symmetrical break here. So it could be moving down. Unfortunately, the EMA isn't acting too reliable right now because it's above and it's below. So prices are both crisscrossing the EMA. Kind of, if you look to the left, and it does it a lot more later. So I wasn't really sure. I called it an almost trade. Plus, this isn't a good enough signal bar for me. So it moves up. I established this green up channel has one touch, two touch, three touch. Bottom side is one touch, two touch, three touch, then a fourth touch. So I'm watching for any kind of bounce here, but it breaks through. So you have a new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long. Second entry long kind of bounces where the midline of my range is. Oh, actually, not the midline of the range. I think this is the market open, pre-market open, but I can't really use it as a key entry point because it's not reliable right now, or it hasn't proven itself to be reliable. First entry long, second entry long creates a higher low. I wanted this higher low to work. The problem with this higher low for me was it's right at the EMA, but the EMA isn't reliable yet. I'm thinking this green up channel wants to test the high. This break of this orange down channel has technically made one attempt, although it's a double bottom, maybe a second attempt. It could be reversing, but what stopped me is the bad signal bar. I had no idea it was going to flush up like this, but you couldn't. In real time, this is all you see. So bad signal bar is all you got going on. Is it really worth a trade? Not for me. Pushes up, moves up this green up channel again. There's no clean second entries. This blue line represents what I thought the trading range was at the time, so I'm going to go ahead and move it up to here. But I thought this is the trading range at the time, which is reasonable because it looked like it wasn't breaking through. There's a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long, not enough a good signal bar, didn't touch the EMA, didn't really. So this clear channel up was one of the channels I was playing with at the time, thinking if we could figure if prices would respect this. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Ended up being this green up channel. So it comes down, I'm thinking this is my range high, and this could be my range low, especially by the time it establishes here. So I thought, okay, it's one touch, two touch. The high side seems to be confirming. It might just be bouncing here. The localized high, the first entry long, pull back, second entry long, riding right along this potential trading range low, but it breaks through. So I'm thinking, is this a failed breakout? It also fits nicely in this orange down channel, but there's no real trade setups here. It's new low, first entry short, technically you have a second entry short here, but it's not the cleanest. It looks like it's moving back into range. I'm thinking there's a fail breakout here. There could be a potential fail breakout up here. So localized low, first entry short. Technically the second entry short is made here, but I thought one and a visual failed second entry short. The reason I thought this might have been a possible trade is it does move one tick below this guy. As I said, I'm expecting a fail breakout to the high side, or at least a move from this low side to the high side. It's a decent signal bar. Thought it was a possible trade. So if you did enter, well, if I did enter, I'd be in the trade right now. I wouldn't have scalped out because I'd be going for 6 ticks, which would be 68, 92, 50. So I'm trying to hoping prices get up to here. So I'd still be in this trade, and then finally this one to flush up. So this trade probably would have worked out. I mean, not probably would have worked out. Prices continue moving up. It creates this corresponding fail breakout on this side. So I'm thinking, okay, now prices, my expectation is going to move back into this gray trading range. So it does that. It's coming back down. It's first entry long, pull back. You technically have a second entry long here. It's a bad signal bar. I'm expecting still a price to move down to here. It's just getting sideways trading range consolidation. Flushes through. So now here's the break. Goes down. It starts reversing. So at this point, I'm thinking, could my range actually be down here? So now this is the larger range I was thinking prices might be trading. And this could just have been some kind of support area. So I wasn't sure which one was the correct one, but I do know for sure on the high side there's a fail breakout. And I was thinking, could there be a fail breakout on this side? I also saw two legs down. I didn't really have them drawn as two measured legs right now, but I did see one leg sideways, second leg. I also thought it could be part of one big leg down here. And this actually sets up for my faulty logic and faulty read of what's going on. So this is a trade that I took. So there's a fail breakout here. And let me just see. I'm looking for a break of, since I was thinking this blue one might have been play, it's a break. So I'm expecting a test of the low. So I saw a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. You can already tell here that I lost. This is my thought process at the time. There's a break of this blue one, so it clearly wants to test the low. Fail breakout on this side. I thought my range actually be here, so I'm expecting a potential fail breakout on the low side. But then this is a bad setup in all kinds of ways. One, this is a bad signal bar to go short on. When I saw this and it started flushing down, I lost discipline. I didn't wait for this to close, and I entered this candle really early. What do I mean by really early? I'm on a 2000 tick chart. So right now, wherever the ticks are in the aftermarket, it's like 1357. I entered when it was still pretty beefy. There's still a lot of ticks to flush through. So even though it broke through here, there was no reason to rush this trade, especially off a bad signal bar. But I did enter, and you can see it immediately went up, stopped me out. The other thing bad with this trade is there are two legs, one leg sideways, second leg. Now, the wider these two legs are, the less likely that this is actually a wider channel. So this blue one here really isn't valid. I should have just had it transparent. Knowing that, then this down channel, this downward push has likely played out on top of the fact that if I was looking for a failed breakout on this side and it didn't show up here, it actually bounced and it bounced more than halfway of this range, then I should not be looking for a short anymore. So this is clearly wrong on all kinds of levels. And I took a loss, which is a bummer because this is my first trade of the week. And then I immediately take another trade. So, well, not immediately, but this is like timestamp 8:47, this timestamp 8:50. So 3 minutes later, I decided, okay, I want to see the prices move back up. Here's the thing that's wrong, or here's the thing that my read was incorrect, or my discipline, or just everything was wrong. So new low, first entry short pullback, second entry short has failed on this candle. My bias immediately switches to long. This is an inside bar, which is not a good setup. And when the follow through bar engulfs this inside bar, you can argue that it does create a higher low. When it creates a higher low, instead of putting my entry one tick above this guy, I put it one tick, or actually at the same high as this. The problem is this is already broken through the high of this double top. Actually, I think it's, yeah, one tick above the double top. So it already exceeded it. That should have thrown other caution in my mind. So even though I wanted the higher low, I threw my trade out there. As you can see, I got filled. Now, this, I should be keeping my stop below this guy or below the obvious swing low. But in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I entered here. If I put it below the obvious swing low, which is here, this is a good 6, 7 points. I don't want to do that. So I kept my stop actually below this entry candle. As you can see, it comes down one tick right where my stop is, stops me out, and then it reverses and goes the direction I was expecting. So after this trade, I was steaming. I was pretty triggered, pretty frustrated. One, this is a poor trade to take. This first one shouldn't have happened. It's a nothing setup. There's no reason to take this trade. It's a poor setup. Second, the second trade was definitely a revenge trade. Got triggered, and although my thinking was correct, my discipline wasn't. There was no reason to keep the stop below this one, where clearly I should have kept it below the obvious swing low, which is this guy. And if I did, then this candle would have given me the win. But I didn't. As a result, I took a second loss. And my rules say like if I take two losses, especially two losses in a row, I just got to stop. So that's kind of what I did. I just continue watching the charts, but then yeah, I was at a very dangerous moment mentally because when you get one loss, you're in the red. Get a second loss, you're in the red, and my risk to reward is not favorable. So if I take a loss, it takes maybe 3 trades to recover. So there's 3 trades I need to do to recover this loss, and then 3 more to recover this loss. So I'm already 6 trades just to get even, and it's only the beginning of the week, first day of trading. That really did a number on me. I know previously, my previous self probably would have tried to get it all back today, trying to make something happen throughout the rest of the day. But I stuck to my rules and just kind of like, well, pretty much sat quietly seething and being frustrated with myself on this poor going today. So, anyways, needless to say, I didn't take any further trades. Prices continue moving up, broke out of the high side, no clean second entries. Looks like I was moving up this larger green up channel, but still no clean second entries. Break. The first entry long, you technically have a second entry long here, but it's an inside bar, so I wouldn't have been interested in this anyways. Pushes down. I don't have this channel established yet. I do have a few support lines drawn, which have since been deleted, but I had something here. Thinking this might have been a failed breakout, and I also had another one up here. I think it might have been tight range, but I've deleted it since then to clean up my charts. Hits the low. It's a first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here. I was looking for a lower high, but you never get one till about right here. By the time this happens and it's a bad signal bar color, this isn't a favorable setup in my opinion, and prices break out of this orange, technically tests the low and reverses back up. New low, first entry short, pull back, second entry short, bad signal bar again. Now I do establish, so in real time, I do establish this as my potential trading range. So I'm thinking of rejection here. Again, this signal bar, excuse me, not the signal bar, this price action had a fail breakout, didn't create a corresponding one here. So as soon as prices kept creeping up, I abandoned the idea of this orange down channel making another leg down. I decided it's probably playing range rules. Then prices continue moving, hits the high sides, coming back down. I'm looking for a bounce off this low side of the range. It doesn't bounce, it just flushes through. So I'm thinking, okay, if this range is in play, prices might pull back in after it makes a corresponding symmetrical break of this guy over here. So this is promising. I'm expecting prices to move back in. It starts kind of moving sideways and stalls out. So now I'm not so sure this is pulling back in. It's just kind of ranging right now. Very congested. It slowly moves back in. So I'm thinking, okay, it could be this range is in play again, but there's no clean setups that I like. It's a new low, first entry short, technically a second entry short here. Not a good setup. Then it moves back up. I kind of did a global count reset of my counts. I said, okay, it's a new low, first entry short, pull back. You technically have a second entry short, but you don't know it until this candle confirms it. So this inside bar here, I'm a little unsure if prices want to move back to the high side or if it really is going to come back down because the first entry short, second entry short. So I want to see a lower high to give me an idea of whether prices are going to move back up or is it going to reverse back to the high side. It gives you the lower high here, but I call it an almost trade because it's kind of close to this localized support area. It ends up would have worked. I drew this orange down channel, so it breaks out of this range. I'm not certain this range is in play anymore. It was a new low, first entry short. Technically I have a second entry short here, but there's no setup. And it's getting late in the day now. The new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. You have a double bottom here, but that's not good enough for me to take a trade. I need like at least triple test. Starts pushing up. I also thought, okay, there's some kind of resistance here. It could be forming like a secondary range. New low, first entry short, push up. It's going back into the original gray range, which in my opinion, it doesn't feel very solid anymore. I don't know how much I can trust the high side of this or the low side, but it does look like it's ranging. So it does look like there's some kind of big range happening. But looking at the time of day, this timestamp over here is 12:50 Pacific Standard. It's just telling me, yeah, it's already moving in the last 30 minutes and the last 10 minutes, which kind of pushes up and then gets choppy into the close. So overall, it was a kind of a slow, especially in the afternoon, slow, choppy day. In hindsight, if I could take it all back, I think definitely it should have been a no trade day. There was granted a potential setup here and a potential failed second entry short here. But the two trades that I did take are not trade setups at all. They were just misread and then a revenge reaction. But it is what it is. I'm going to try to refocus and kind of get my bearings together. This is kind of the rage area where after I took the two losses, I was definitely at high risk of doing something stupid. So fortunately, I didn't. And I'm just going to have to walk away red and try to rebuild my losses for the rest of the week. So hopefully that was helpful.